So, welcome back to the deep dive.
As we continue our exploration of blockchain, we're moving into this realm of Web3, this vision for a truly decentralized internet.
And you know, this concept is generating a lot of buzz.
Yeah, for good reason.
And for good reason, I think Web3 really have the potential
to just reshape the digital landscape as we know it.
Web3 sounds fascinating, but I have to admit, it's still a little bit fuzzy for me.
Yeah.
So can you break it down like in simple terms?
Yeah.
What does a decentralized internet actually mean for like everyday users?
So think about the internet as we know it today.
Right.
You know, we rely so heavily on these centralized platforms like Google, Facebook, Amazon.
These companies, they control so much of our data.
Right.
And they basically dictate the rules of the game.
Yeah.
Web3 aims to kind of shift that balance of power.
Okay.
And put users back in control.
Okay. So instead of our data being stored on servers controlled by these giant corporations, it would be like distributed across a decentralized network.
Exactly.
And instead of them making all the decisions about how these platforms operate, users would have more say.
That's the idea.
Wow.
Yeah. Web3 envisions a future
where users own their data.
Right.
And they have more control over how it's used.
It's about, creating a more equitable and user-centric online environment.
Right.
Where the power is distributed instead of concentrated.
Right.
In the hands of a few.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture.
Yeah.
But how would this actually work in practice? What are some real-world examples of what a Web3 application might look like?
So imagine like a social media platform.
Okay.
Where users collectively own and govern the platform.
Wow.
Instead of algorithms deciding what you see.
Right.
You have more control over your feed.
You can support creators you like.
Right.
Or think about like a decentralized marketplace.
Okay.
Where buyers and sellers connect directly.
Like cut out the middleman.
Right.
Reduce fees.
Those are some pretty compelling examples.
Yeah.
It sounds like Web3 could really shake things up in a positive way.
But let's be realistic. Every new technology faces challenges.
Definitely.
So what are some of the hurdles
that Web3 needs to overcome to really become a reality?
So one of the big ones, I think, is scalability.
Okay.
As more users join Web3 platforms, these underlying blockchain networks, they need to be able to handle, that increasing transaction volume without slowing down.
Or becoming, too expensive to use.
Right. Nobody wants to wait forever for a transaction to go through or pay these crazy fees to use a decentralized application.
Yeah.
Say.
What else? Another big challenge is user experience.
Okay.
Right now, like interacting with these Web3 applications can be pretty complex.
It requires, a certain level of technical knowledge.
Right.
Familiarity with things like wallets, private keys, gas fees.
It can be a barrier.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a barrier for a lot of people.
For sure. Not everyone is,
a crypto enthusiast or a tech wizard.
Exactly.
So for Web3 to really take off, it needs to be as easy to use as those centralized platforms we're all used to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work being done to develop user-friendly interfaces.
Right.
And to simplify that onboarding process.
There's still a long way to go.
And I imagine security is a major concern as well.
Security, huge.
Especially when you're talking about decentralizing sensitive data and financial transactions.
Absolutely. Security is paramount.
Yeah.
In the Web3 world.
Right.
Remember, in a decentralized system, there's no central authority.
Fall back on if something goes wrong.
Right.
So users need to be really careful about protecting their private keys, understanding the risks involved.
So there are definitely challenges ahead, but also a lot of exciting potential.
Huge potential.
Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about, the broader impact of blockchain. I mean, we've touched on some of the applications in finance, art, gaming, but it seems like the possibilities
are almost limitless.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think blockchain is a super versatile technology that can be applied to so many different
industries and use cases.
Yeah.
And I think one area that's particularly exciting is supply chain management.
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about
how
blockchain could revolutionize supply chains.
Imagine being able to track a product's journey.
Okay.
Like from its origin all the way to the consumer.
With complete transparency and, this immutability.
Blockchain can create this permanent tamper-proof record of every step in the supply chain.
Wow.
From the raw materials to the manufacturing process to the final delivery.
So that would be incredible.
Right.
No more wondering where your food came from.
Exactly.
Or how your clothes were made.
Or whether the products you're buying are ethically sourced.
You can trace it all back to the origin with a few clicks.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And this level of transparency could have such a huge impact on industries. From, food and agriculture to fashion to electronics.
Right.
Help combat counterfeiting, reduce waste, promote sustainable practices.
So blockchain could be this powerful tool.
I think so.
For promoting ethical and responsible business practices.
Yeah.
What other areas are you particularly excited about?
Another one with huge potential is healthcare.
Okay.
Blockchain can be used to securely store and share medical records.
Right.
Giving patients more control over their own health information.
That would be a game changer.
It would.
Especially for people who move frequently.
Yeah.
Or have complex medical histories.
For sure. And blockchain could also streamline those clinical trials.
Okay.
Making it easier for researchers to collaborate and share data securely, which could help accelerate the development of new treatments and cures.
It's inspiring to think about how blockchain could improve healthcare and,
potentially even save lives. Are there any other areas that you're watching closely?
One that I'm really fascinated by is
this concept of self-sovereign identity.
Self-sovereign identity.
Or SSI.
SSI, that's a new one for me. What's that all about?
Imagine a world where you have total control over your digital identity.
Okay.
You decide what information to share with whom and for what purpose.
So instead of relying on third-party providers like Google or Facebook to verify your identity, you would have your own digital ID that you could use to access services, prove your age, or even vote online.
Exactly. So SSI gives individuals that control over their personal data.
And empowers them to interact with these online services in a much more secure and private way.
That sounds incredibly empowering.
It is.
Especially in a world where, data breaches and identity theft are becoming so common.
It seems like blockchain is opening up
this whole new world possibilities for how we manage our digital identities.
It really does.
And as the technology keeps evolving,
we can expect to see even more innovative applications emerge, addressing challenges we haven't even thought of yet.
This has been an incredibly insightful conversation.
It has been, yeah.
I mean, we've covered so much ground.
From those fundamental concepts of Web3 to the potential impact of blockchain on
supply chains,
healthcare, even our digital identities.
Yeah.
And in that final part of our deep dive,
we'll
explore another fascinating aspect of blockchain.
The evolution of regulation.
Okay.
And its implications for the future of this transformative technology.
All right. Can't wait.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've covered so much ground, tracing the evolution of blockchain from its early days with Bitcoin to the revolutionary potential of Web3.
Yeah.
But, as this tech keeps gaining momentum, governments all over the world, they're trying to figure out how to approach this whole new frontier. So Regulation, exactly. So
the key point,
we've seen how blockchain can disrupt traditional industries.
From finance to healthcare?
Yeah, but with all this disruption comes the need for some clear rules of the road to make sure there's responsible innovation and that consumers are protected.
It's a delicate balance, right?
Yeah.
We want to encourage innovation.
For sure.
We want blockchain to flourish.
Yeah.
But we also need to make sure it's being used ethically and responsibly.
It is a tough balance, and
striking that balance is proving to be quite a challenge for regulators.
And different countries are taking different approaches, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Ranging from cautious observation to active encouragement and everything in between.
Absolutely.
So can you give us some examples of
how different regions are approaching blockchain regulation?
Yeah, so in some places
like the European Union, we're seeing a focus on developing these comprehensive regulatory frameworks that cover a wide range of blockchain applications. They're aiming for a more unified approach.
Okay.
Across all the member states to try and provide clarity and certainty for businesses and investors.
Operating in this blockchain space.
That makes sense because a clear regulatory framework can help build trust.
Yeah.
And encourage investment.
Definitely.
What about other parts of the world?
So in other places like
Switzerland and Singapore,
okay,
we're seeing a more proactive,
okay,
and I'd say even like innovation-friendly approach.
Oh.
They're really trying to position themselves as blockchain hubs.
attracting companies and talent,
Right.
with a combination of, regulatory clarity
Yeah.
and like supportive policies.
So they're kind of embracing the potential of blockchain and seeing it as an opportunity for economic growth
Yeah.
and technological advancement
Exactly. They're betting on becoming leaders.
in blockchain space.
Right.
And they're using regulation
Okay.
as a tool to really foster that growth.
It's really interesting to see how different countries are kind of navigating this whole new landscape
So what are some of the key challenges?
that regulators are facing when it comes to blockchain.
So I think one of the biggest ones is...
Keeping up with the speed of innovation.
Right.
Blockchain tech is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
New applications are emerging all the time.
Yeah.
It's really tough for regulators to create rules
Right.
for something that's constantly changing.
Like trying to hit a moving target.
Exactly.
Another big one is that global nature of blockchain.
Right.
These transactions can occur across borders.
Instantaneously.
Right.
Which makes it hard for any single country to regulate effectively.
Yeah. This really requires international cooperation and coordination.
So that there's a level playing field.
Yeah.
And to prevent like regulatory arbitrage.
Exactly, because if one country cracks down on blockchain
Right.
and another one welcomes it
Businesses are just going to move
to the more favorable jurisdiction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It highlights the need for a more collaborative approach to regulation.
It seems like finding the right balance is crucial.
It is, yeah.
Too much regulation could stifle innovation.
Right.
Too little could lead to chaos and misuse.
Yeah, the goal is to create an environment
that fosters responsible innovation, protects consumers, and allows this technology to reach its full potential.
We've explored the past, the present,
and even the future of blockchain.
It's been an incredible journey as we wrap up this deep dive.
What's the one key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
I think blockchain tech is transformative.
It has the power to change industries, empower individuals,
and reshape the way we interact with the whole digital world.
There are definitely challenges, uncertainties ahead, but I think
the potential benefits are just too vast to ignore.
Yeah.
So stay curious, stay informed,
and be a part of this incredible journey as blockchain continues to shape the future.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of blockchain.
I hope you found this exploration insightful
and thought-provoking.
Remember, this is just the beginning. The future of blockchain is still being written.
And who knows what amazing innovations and applications are just around the corner.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.